Hello everybody, I thought I would do a review on the Dunelm olive string lights, which have a sort of C9 looking bulb, but of course they're not bulbs, they are LEDs with a kind of cap over them to look like a bulb. Unfortunately, it is extremely difficult to get anything like a C9 bulb. I understand C9 is probably a more of an American like bulb fitting. I think in the UK it would have been E12. It has been like over a decade since I've like touched one, or because I used to decorate my parents' back garden with whatever the equivalent of these are in the incandescent form, and I don't know what happened. I feel like they don't have them anymore. I can't find them anywhere in their house. Anyway, getting to this, when I saw this, I saw one of these last year actually, and I really liked it. I put it over my apartment door because I'm one of those people who decorates their apartment door for each of the holidays, and I liked them so much that when they came back with them this year, I have bought two, and this is one of them. So anyway, enough of the rambling. Let's get to the product. So as you can see, they are £10, which is okay, I guess. Here they are. Let's pull them out. So they come with a battery pack, which requires 3 AA batteries. And then the length between the battery pack and first bulb is 0.5 meters, which isn't the longest, I suppose, but I guess it's kind of normal for battery powered string lights here in the UK. And then the total length of the bulbs is 7.3 meters, which is quite a decent amount. I found that 5 meters is perfect for putting around a doorway, or at least my apartment door. And 7.3 is just a little bit too much, but it's fine because I have a tree next to the door and I just put the rest of the strand around the tree. So let's get some batteries in here. I I hate this. I need to unscrew this. So a big pet peeve of mine is when battery compartments have a screw. I understand that it's probably for safety reasons to protect it from kids. I personally believe that maybe the screw should only be there for items that are designed for kids. And yeah, to kind of teach kids to not go into battery compartments. I don't know. I mean, I imagine my inconvenience is way less important than the safety of children or even pets, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's just a pet peeve of mine. I always, when it's like this, where you can still shut it without a screw, I always remove the screw because it's just annoying and unnecessary. I always like to go for rechargeable batteries because, well, for two reasons. One, it is way less cheaper than buying batteries in the long run. And two, especially with lights that are battery operated, it reaches a point where they've just become dim. And I always find myself in a position where I'm like, oh, but there's still a bit of juice left in the batteries, it'd be a shame to waste them. Whereas with rechargeable ones, as soon as I feel like they are getting a bit too dim for me, I just recharge them, and then and I also have spares, so then I can always keep them bright, you know? Ideally, I'm much more of a fan of being able to plug in lights. And when there are 3 batteries, that means that it's running on 4.5 volts because each battery is 1.5 volts. And that means that you could, in theory, run it on USB-A, which typically runs on 5 volts. And that 0.5 volts like would give it a bit of extra power, but wouldn't be too much. And then that means that you can plug it into the mains, or maybe even a rechargeable battery or something. It just feels like it makes so much more sense to me. I wish there was at least like a USB port in one of these, so then you can make a decision whether you want batteries or not. So yeah, I found that quite frustrating because with where I'm going to put this, there is definitely access to sockets, and I would way rather just be able to do that. Whereas around the doorway, there isn't an access to a socket. Anyway, long story short, I wish that these had the option for plug-in. And I know that this isn't the most unique design, and you can get stuff like this on eBay, which I imagine would have the option for USB. But when I have done a quick search for similar ones like this on eBay, for example, I don't like the color choices. I know there's like there's kind of a divide in the string light community of whether there should be, for the multicolored ones, whether there should be 4 or 5 colors, maybe even more. And I think typically what you would usually see is, let me work this out, I think it's like usually these colors in this order. I might be wrong. Maybe it's either in that order or that order. And I think a lot of that divide kind of goes down to what you grew up on. And to be honest, I can't really remember, but I personally just feel like having a 5th color just does something for me. Like, I just think it looks so much nicer. And yeah, so these similar ones, which look kind of like these, or exactly like these, only had the 4 colors. And yeah, I wanted the 5. Tell you what, let's turn them on first, because I imagine you may be excited to see, and then we can scrutinize them a bit more. So there are 8 modes, and I'm gonna mainly focus on the steady on, partly because I am not a fan of number 5 and number 7. I think they should be made illegal. I am partially joking, but I just don't see the appeal in them. So here's how they look on with the lights on, and then here's how they look with the lights off. So I'm just gonna try and untangle them just a little bit, just so we can get a better look at them. I don't know if this is a weird thing or not, but I actually really enjoy untangling string lights. It's like a mind puzzle. I miss the days when string lights would come in like a box that had a plastic holder for the lights, and each light you'd like press into its slot. Putting them away was kind of long because you had to like put them all in each slot, but I just felt like it looked way prettier. And yeah, it just feels like a cost-cutting measure to remove them. So let's see. So here they are close up. I've got to say, they don't look how they look in person on the screen right now. But I'm going to try my best to explain exactly how they look. So the red, I would say, is a much more juicy red. Let me just turn the lights on just to see how much difference that makes. Yeah, I feel like it looks kind of accurate right now with the lights on. Actually, I don't know, maybe it's about the same. I can't really tell, but basically this is more of a juicy red. This is showing up as minty. This is not minty. This is more of like a Kelly green, I think would be the shade. This is pretty true to how it looks, I would say. Maybe it looks a bit more faded on the screen. This looks very faded. This is more of a cobalt blue, which I actually really like for this. And then this is looking more like a lilac on the screen, but in person this is more of like an actual purple. Let's scrutinize these Obviously, something that is really different about them is they don't have a filament in them. Can I take this off? Oh, I can. Wow. So, okay, interesting. So let's put this cap back on. I feel like there would be more accurate for the LED to sit rather than at the bottom. And I know that there are companies in the US which are working on doing more realistic C9 and other type of string lights which look more realistic, that look like they actually have a filament. Because here, if you look closely, you can tell that is a typical LED string light kind of bulb in there. So not a fan of that, but because it's like because it's not a see-through, how do I explain it? Because it's not like a clear glass, it's like well, it's not glass, it's plastic. It's, you know, it's not clear basically. It's kind of, you can't see through it as well. Is opaque the word? Sorry, I'm like, it's pretty late and I just had this kind of like spur to do this review. But yeah, because it's not so clear and see-through, when it's kind of further away and kind of in with the way you've decorated it, you can't, it's not really something you would pick up on unless you're really looking out for it. So I think that's fine. If this was a see-through kind of cap, I would absolutely not buy them because I think it would look hideous. But with this, I can accept it. And I gotta say, even though I do like these, and I've bought 3 of them, as soon as I come across sets which look like proper C9 string lights and are LED, I'm getting them and I'm checking these because I'm just viewing this as a sort of like intermediate product until the technology gets better. Like I said, I understand in the US there are companies that are doing what I'm looking for, such as True Tone. And I know that there are some supermarkets and hardware stores that are also having a go at what True Tone are doing. And I'll have images on the screen here of what I'm talking about. But yeah, for some reason in the UK, you can't get that here, and it really bugs me. I can't tell if it is simply there is no demand, or it's just companies aren't really bothered to like give it a try. I assume there would be a demand. I feel like I don't know, it's so weird to me because I understand incandescent bulbs became basically illegal to be sold in the EU. I think in something like 2017 maybe, and it was like a process over a few years where they were kind of being phased out, and then we left the EU, and then I don't know, it just feels like only a year or two ago I kind of realized, wait a second, what happened to incandescent bulbs? I didn't even know what the word was for it, and then I realized, oh, it's incandescent bulbs, like that's what I'm looking for. I think I heard in the US it's being discouraged, but it's, it hasn't been banned in the way that it has been here. So now that LEDs are becoming much more prevalent just in general, I think probably that is adding to this like stronger demand or interest. But yeah, I'm sure, I really do believe that as soon as incandescent looking string lights, especially these more bigger bulky bulbs, as soon as more realistic ones become available here, people are going to realize, oh yeah, that's what I want. Like does that make sense? Anyway, let's get back to scrutinizing. So yeah, there is a hole on both sides, which makes sense because you're going to want to have a place for moisture to get out, especially if you're using this outdoors. Forgot to mention that this is suitable for outdoor use. I wouldn't personally recommend having it outdoors for a long period of time because usually LED string lights like this are just not so suitable for like long periods of outdoor use, because this sort of the way the plastic is shrinked, like rust, I believe, or you know, can build up. It's just not so suitable. You would need like proper hefty like commercial grade type of string lights for long-term use. So personally, and I think they sell ones like this for the reason that, you know, they won't last long, so people will have to buy more sets. So I seem to have, I don't know, I can't get it back in, which is kind of annoying. Damn, how am I? Yeah, I don't know what I've done here, but it basically won't let me get it back in. There we go, a bit more force worked. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this outside for too long, but of course these are very likely mostly going to be used during Christmas time, so it should be fine. But also if you're going to have it outdoors, maybe sheltered outdoors would be better. So yeah, that's just my kind of notes on that. Looking at the colors together, and just looking at the screen right now, this is not exactly what it looks like. I mean, these right now look exactly the same. Oops, but they are absolutely not. I wonder if just holding it against the box would do any justice. Like that looks more faded than that. Like this is a very juicy red, like a one of those fake cherry reds. It's so interesting because even the box kind of looks more like what we're seeing through the camera, but this doesn't look as much like the box. You'd think they would have color corrected it a bit more to look like how it actually looks. Let me just turn these off just to see. I feel like now that they're off, you can probably get a better idea of how the colors actually look. Wait, let me just turn them on and off. Not this terrible mode. Yeah, like, see how that looks on? And then when I turn it off? Interesting. Something I will also add is, you know, with incandescent string lights, obviously the light within the bulb would be a sort of warm white light naturally, because it's literally kind of not a flame, but you know what I mean. And then the glass outer edge would be colored. But the problem with a lot of these LED multicolored string lights is the LED itself is colored, which then kind of adds a kind of tint to it, which just looks, just kind of gives this glow that just doesn't look right. So this is a set that I modified because I wanted the coverings that it came with. So if I take this cap off, so here's the cap, and it's got a red bulb under it. But then if I put a warm white bulb under it, it just looks a lot nicer. Let's actually turn the lights off and compare. Can you see that? Like it looks a bit more I mean, it doesn't help just the shape and the design of the string and the kind of effect that it's making in glass, but I hope you can see just like the difference in the shade of red. You can kind of see it. And then let's try it with some of the other colors here. So you got green with, yeah, a green LED under it. But then when we put this under it, it's just like much warmer green. Now let's see, let's just check all of these. Yeah, yellow. Let's see, yellow under it. More of a kind of lemon yellow. I mean, you probably could, well, you could definitely could modify this if you wanted to. I feel like you would be able to pull this attachment that the cap screws in. There we go. Really nice shade of blue actually when it's got a warm white light under it. And then let's do purple. Yeah. Looks kind of pink. Interesting. And then, yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, basically say all that to say, these are not ideal by any means, but they are good enough for what I want for the time being, and that's why I purchased three of them. So yeah, I just thought I'd do this review to kind of share that if you are in the same kind of boat as me, where you really want like incandescent looking LED string lights, and kind of bulky ones like this, then yeah, this is fine for now. But yeah, like I said, as soon as the technology gets better, I mean, it already is, but with True Tone, for example, but it's not available in the UK, I will be switching to that. Or if another company comes out with what I'm looking for, I will be going straight to that as soon as possible. And I will just also add, in case you're like, well, why don't you just import these True Tone lights? The thing is in the US, they run on a 110 volt system, I believe. And in the UK, we run on 230 volts. So if you try and plug them in the UK, it will just either not work or it will just kind of break it. And you can get step down voltage converters, but when I've looked into them, they look kind of dodgy from like really random companies, and you know, big name electronic brands don't seem to make those. And looking at reviews, they don't seem very reliable and they seem like they break very quickly. So I kind of don't really want to bother with that. And also, I'm renting, and if anything happens, like as a fire, because I use a step down converter, I don't really think my insurance or anything would cover that, because it does just seem like a risky product. I don't know. But yeah, basically, I'm not willing to risk it. But if they do a version which supports a 230 volts input, I will be one of the first to try them. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. I know I did a big ramble, but to be honest, I've watched a few videos like this myself and people ramble on and I kind of enjoy it. So yeah, so long story short, would I recommend these? Yes, asterisk. And yeah, so head on down to Dunelm, or you can get them online. I thought I'd show you how I've styled them. So we've got them around this shelf unit here, and the battery pack starts just there. And it actually fits perfectly around the top there, hanging down to the bottom here, and then weaving through this faux fig plant, and then going up around this whiteboard. And I'll show you with the light off too. Very cute, very nice, very happy with it. So yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I've got similar videos on my channel if you're interested, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.